What I was discussing was the obstacle, the very real danger of death thrown up by the society when a black man attempts to become a man.
Yes, I want to make a point about this putting people into groups which they ought not to be in. I have more in common with a black scholar than I do with a white man who is against all scholarship. You have more in common with a white author than with someone who's against all literature. So why must we concentrate on color and religion in this when there are other ways of connecting men?
I'm not talking about that. I understand that. I'm not interested if a person is black, white, green, or yellow. I'm talking about the force of the state of the moment that is affecting and oppressing all black people in this nation.
Not all.
The force of the state of the moment that is oppressing every black man in this nation.
You run freely, do you not? Is black getting in the way of your being an author?
Yes.
Mr. Baldwin, if your case was being carried out in the way you're describing it, it would be difficult to understand how you ever wrote a word. After all, you're a distinguished novelist. You must have been reviewed objectively as an author, not as a Negro. No one ever gave a damn if your great ancestor was bought and sold, but they looked at your work, yourself, your literature on its own terms. That there are terrible injustices, everyone admits, but you're generalizing it, you're rigidifying it, you're solidifying it so that there is no way out. But you're an exhibition of the fact that there is a way out.
Am I?
Yes. You're not just the incarnation of blackness, you're an author. That's how I think of you.
I'll tell you how to make it in this country if you're black. You have to decide that you're not going to be controlled by what white people think of you.
Of course, but that's from anybody. From what anybody thinks of you, because you have to think of yourself.
I don't care what Senator Eastland thinks of me or what Ronald Reagan thinks of me, but they have the power to destroy my life and the life of my children, and that is given by the will of the state. I'm not talking about myself as a writer, of course. I know I'm a writer. What I'm trying to say is the gap, the distance placed on myself, my own assessment, my experience, is greater than any white person in this country.
I don't believe it.
I know you don't believe it. When I left this country, in 1948, I left for one reason. One reason. I didn't care where I went. I could have went to Hong Kong, Timbuktu. I ended up in Paris. The streets of Paris with $40 in my pocket on the theory that nothing worse could happen to me there than has happened to me here. You talk about making it as a writer by yourself. You have to be able to turn up all your antennas on the world around you, because once you turn your back on this society, you may die. You may die. And it's very hard to sit at a typewriter and concentrate when you're afraid of the world around you. The years I lived in Paris did one thing for me. They released me of that particular social term, which is not the paranoia of my own mind, but the real social danger that is in the face of every cop, every boss, every bati.
Everybody. Everybody, no matter what his attitude, is bigoted.
I did not say that. You're asking me to take the wheel for the deed? I don't know if white Christians hate Negroes, but I know that there is a Christian church which is white and a Christian church which is black. I know, as Malcolm X once put it, the most segregated hour in American life is high noon on Sunday. It means I can afford to trust most white Christians, and I can't trust the Christian church. I don't know if the labor unions and their bosses hate me, but I know that I'm not in their unions. I don't know if real estate lobbyists hate black people, but I know they keep me in the ghetto. I don't know if the Board of Education hates black people, but I know the textbooks my children have to read and the schools we have to go to. Now, this is the evidence. You're asking me to take an act of faith and risk my life, my wife, my children on some idealism which you assure me exists in this America that I've never seen.
Say that.
You want to take 30 seconds to answer that?
I need a lot more than that.
We'll be right back.
Listen, I think the real problem is we're looking at it through different lenses.
Yes.